I've got real driftwood envy here now. Look at this bit here with all the bolts in it. But this piece, this would be coming home with me if it was portable. Look at that, isn't it great? That's a beautiful piece of driftwood. The last thing I expected to uncover after a trip to Vallejo in California in January 2019 was a beautiful love story, lain undiscovered for almost 150 years and known only to a few. However, that is exactly what happened. During my time in Vallejo, I spent several wonderful hours beachcombing, but my story was not washed out with the tide. Rather, what caught my eye a stone's throw away was the Mare Island Naval shipyard, the cranes and structures reminding me of similar abandoned landscapes in the Thames estuary. My friend Angela and I planned a visit. I hope this story will inspire you as much as it did me. Hi everyone. Today I am visiting the Mare Island Naval Shipyard, which was opened in 1854 and closed in 1996. You can just see through here a lot of warehouses, old accommodation, and it's quite a fascinating place. And it's all fenced off. But what's interesting is that just up here, up this road, is the Mare Island Cemetery, which also opened in about 1854, and the first burials began in 1856. And it's the Bay Area's oldest naval cemetery. So many of these headstones are belonging to people who served in the US Navy. This one is in the memory of Wilhelm Pope, born at Hanover, Germany in 1842, died in 1884, on USS Ranger, erected by his shipmates. And here there is in memory of James Shaw, native of Dublin, Ireland, died June 2nd, 1888, aged 61, erected by his loving shipmates. Oh, we've got a White over here, Alexander White, quartermaster, native of Scotland, died at Mare Island, California, February the 2nd, 1889. Some of these stones are really beautiful. There's this one here in memory of Charles F. Crowell, native of Charleston, I'm guessing Massachusetts, is it? Charleston, Mass, drowned April 29th, 1867, aged 32 years, seaman aboard USS ship Pensacola. It's so peaceful here. It really is a peaceful place. Ezra Burton died at the Naval Hospital, Mare Island, 1867. Adeline Coy, wife of Henry S. Davids, US Navy, born July 26, 1851, died at Shanghai, China, September the 14th, 1878, Mizpah. Adeline Coy was 27 years old when she contracted cholera and died on the 14th of September, 1878. She was living in Shanghai with her husband Henry Davids, a US naval engineer, and Charlotte, their 3-year-old daughter. Following her death, Henry Davids wrote a series of letters to Adeline's parents between November 1878 and June 1879. Nagasaki, November the 9th, 1878. To the dear ones at home. I try to write you again, but with nothing to say, only that which can start your hearts from calmness to the sad reality of our eternal loss. Now that my work for my darling is for the present done, I can no more but give her the love upon which she once lived. The mind is left free to think, and the heart to feel the aimless life before me. I saw her grave for a few minutes the day before leaving Shanghai. I hope never to look upon that spot again. It must be in the land that gave her birth and her heart to me, where kind hands can tend it. Addie, my devoted wife, our darling, is at last left alone, with none near to love her or even seek her grave. How much better for my child could I take her place? I had hoped to see my little Charlotte again and hold her tenderly in my arms. I do not dare let my mind dwell upon the long time before I can hear of her safe arrival home among you. 3 long months of impatient waiting. I have nothing to fear but the terrible suspense. I have but the single thought, Addie and our child. I could never cease to write of them, but it cannot relieve our pain. Addie is dead, seems all I know. Henry's ensuing letters back home to Adeline's parents detail his feelings as he struggles with missing his daughter Charlotte, who was sent back to the USA to live with relatives, and the painful process of arranging to have his wife's remains sent back to Mare Island Cemetery. He writes to Adeline's father, Calvin, "While in Yokohama, I made arrangements with the Pacific Mail Company for transporting our darling's remains to San Francisco. My own ideas are but general. I would have her tomb durable and protected from all usual destroying agents. Her monument I would have suitable to her age, condition and virtues, and the mutual love between us. Her tenderness and devotion I would like expressed in her epitaph, that her child may read it in years to come. I hope you will give mother's help in the duty I owe my devoted wife, for God only knows how much it is needed." Yokohama, March the 9th, 1879. I am most anxious to hear of our darling's remains arriving home and of their final burial near you. 'Tis one of my greatest reliefs and comforts to feel that I have done this much for her. I have nothing left now but to care for our child and her grave, to which my life will be devoted. The worst is over. There is nothing now to do but erect the monument to her cherished memory. When all is over and done, I can still beautify the spot and dwell upon the past, and watch with tender care her child. So long as I shall live, I hope to have each spring bring forth its verdure and flowers, and see that time or man does not injure our darling's tomb. Here's an interesting one which is enclosed in its own little enclosure, and it's for the Medical Inspector David Oldham Lewis, United States Navy, England, 1851, Honolulu, 1905. Another interesting person who's buried here in this cemetery is Anna Arnold Key, who is the daughter of Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner. Anna Arnold Key Turner, daughter of Francis Scott Key, a United States bicentennial commemoration placed by Sequoia Chapter, National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Here we've got George Kelly, gone home, but he is a native of Liverpool, England, accidentally killed on board the USS Pensacola, age 48. Now, somewhere in this cemetery there is the grave of William Halford, who was born in 1841 in Gloucester, not far from where I was born in Cheltenham, and he enlisted in the US Navy in 1869. And he served on the USS Saginaw, the first ship built here at Mare Island Naval Dockyard. And so I'm looking for his grave. So I've now found the grave of William Halford, who was born in Gloucester. Here he is, born in Gloucester in 1841. I was born in Cheltenham, not far from there. And he enlisted in the US Navy in 1869 and served on the USS Saginaw. Now there's an interesting little enclosure here, and it looks like a family. There's Jessie Sawyer, died 1865, age 63. There's Herbert Brooks Sawyer, died 1860, age 20 months, and Sarah Brooks Sawyer, wife of Jessie Sawyer, who died in looks like 71, age 68 years. And here's somebody who died on my birthday, Lieutenant Commander C.F. Schmitz, born at Indiana, November the 20th, 1842. Died at Navy Yard, Mare Island in 1883. I thoroughly enjoyed visiting the Mare Island Naval Cemetery and discovering the graves of the many servicemen who were laid to rest there. I was inspired by Adeline Coy's story, which I only discovered by chance when I started to research the names on the gravestones this week when looking through my footage. It made me think that you just never know when in the future our own stories might inspire someone.